Hey everybody, it's Jack Hammer here, Levi Stadium, where the 49ers just wrapped up their first practice, getting ready for their game coming up on Saturday in Las Vegas on New Year's Day against the Raiders. Interesting practice today, some definite injury news to get to. The first few names on here, you're going to recognize them. They've been on this list for a bit now. Jimmy Garoppolo, Deebo Samuel, Kevin Givens, all three missing practice today. Not unexpected. They've been dealing with injuries, like I said, for a while. Garoppolo finally got his foot out of the cast. Still has a little scooter that he's getting around with. He's not going to be back anytime soon, but there is a possibility the 49ers going to get him back at some point in the playoffs to possibly be the backup to Brock Purdy. So still kind of trending in that direction. Still a little bit of a long shot, I think, for that to occur based off of the fact that he's still moving around without walking on it. But that's positive news there for the 49ers. Deebo Samuel, ankle and foot, knee, been dealing with that since the game against Tampa Bay. He actually got to work out on the side today, so that's good news for the 49ers. Deebo Samuel working out on a side field. Got to watch him run around a little bit. My thought, based off of what we saw of him when he was carted off against Tampa Bay, I thought it's pretty interesting to be able to how well he's moving around right now. Kyle Shanahan said today that based on his workout today, there is a possibility for Deebo Samuel to return to practice tomorrow. As far as getting him in a game before the end of the season, well, we'll see where that goes. I think it's a little bit of a long shot there with him actually getting back onto the field for a game. But getting Deebo Samuel back and practicing would be big, just to get him into the flow of the offense. Working with the guys, the sooner they can do that, the better. But a good workout, I think, from what I saw with Samuel, moving around pretty well. Nothing full speed, but the fact that he's able to cut and move and hop and do some of those things he was doing were definite positives. Kevin Givens, nothing new to report there. Javon Kinlaw also missed practice today. Kyle Shanahan said that was already planned. Nothing happened with that knee as a result of the game against Washington. Just keeping him out for practice today. It's the same plan that they used last week with Javon Kinlaw. Kinlaw did not practice on Wednesday with the team, or what would have been the Wednesday practice last week. Instead, he did a workout on the side and then showed up for his first practice on what would have been their Thursday practice. So 49ers following the same plan with Javon Kinlaw this week as they did last week. Had a big stop down at the goal line, helped out with that goal line stand. So some positive news there for Javon Kinlaw. Mitch Wishnowsky missed practice today as well. He was out sick, just called in. He wasn't feeling good. The team had him stay away from the facility. So nothing to be overly concerned there with the punter. Trent Williams, we saw him walking around, but I think he was a vet day today, along with Nick Bosa. Didn't see either of those two on the field during the portion open to the media. As far as the limited participants, Ambry Thomas, Kerry Hyder, Jordan Mason dealing with that hamstring injury that he suffered last week. Also kind of tweaked his knee a little bit early in the game, covering a kick. He was a limited participant today, as was Christian McCaffrey. A limited participant there. And Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was a full participant today. He had been limited last week and the week before due to the oblique injury that he had suffered against Tampa. But full participant today. And I can report that Brock Purdy looked really good in practice. The part that was open to the media seemed to have the zip on his ball back last week on his throws. He was a little light on the first day of practice. Got a little bit better the second day, and then they lightened it up again the last day. But today, full practice for Brock Purdy. Plenty of zip on the ball. Saw him throw a few deep balls, which he didn't do last week. So some positive news there around Brock Purdy. Outside of that, with practice today, not a whole lot else to report. But what I would say is, there's been a lot of discussion with regards to the quarterback position, and just doing some research on the numbers aspect between what Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo have done over these last 8 weeks. It's fascinating to me how similar their numbers are. Now, you got to remember, Jimmy Garoppolo's in his 8th year in the NFL. And Brock Purdy is about to finish up his first. But the fact that those two have come out, and you look at their numbers over this 8-game win streak, and how similar they are. It's wild to me. And it bodes well for the 49ers in the future, you know, when they're looking at the draft last year. One of the reasons why I felt like going with a guy like Mac Jones, we didn't bring you a whole lot that was different from Jimmy Garoppolo, but the reason that I liked him was you could get a guy that gives you all the aspects of Jimmy Garoppolo, which has helped this team win a lot of games, and you were going to reduce his cap hit. And 49ers went in a different direction, but they went out and got a guy in Brock Purdy who many thought would have been a first-round draft pick in 2021. Instead, he stayed in school, went back for his last year, and ended up getting to the 49ers in round 7. Yeah, and I'm getting a steal with him. And he's come out and put up the same kind of numbers that I would have expected to see from Mac Jones. And he did. He's done that despite being the 262nd player taken in the draft. You look at the numbers over this 8-game win streak. The first 4 for Jimmy Garoppolo, 71.5%. 7.98 yards per attempt for Jimmy Garoppolo. You look at them, what Brock Purdy has done. Brock Purdy, 68.9% completion, so just a little bit lower. 7.98 yards per attempt. Their numbers are nearly identical when you look at their yards per attempt and completion percentage. Now, with Purdy, you've gotten a few passes that are a little bit deeper. You've had some of those, which has been a big positive for this 49ers offense. He has 8 touchdowns to 2 interceptions during this time. Garoppolo, 7 touchdowns to no interceptions. But you look at it and, you know, the yards per attempt, the reason why those numbers are so close is, you know, Purdy gets the big shots. There's no doubt about it, but he also doesn't have as much in the middle range. It's usually it's really long or really short. Whereas Jimmy Garoppolo is a little bit more of mid-range to short, without very many deep balls included in there. So it's an interesting look when you look at the stats. It's not a knock on Brock Purdy to say that Brock Purdy is playing at the same level as Jimmy Garoppolo when you consider how good of a quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo has been for the 49ers over the time that he's been here in the 6 years. The number of wins that they've had with him compared to everybody else. And for Brock Purdy, a rookie, to come in and be able to play at that level is very good. So don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Brock Purdy is Jimmy Garoppolo and he's not going to get better. I'm saying that right now as a rookie in year 1, Brock Purdy is playing as well as Jimmy Garoppolo, which is really good news for the 49ers as they move into the future. Who knows what that's going to hold with Trey Lance. Lots of different directions that this thing can play out, but I would like to see a quarterback battle this summer. But before we get there, 49ers have won 8 in a row. They're going to be facing a Raider team without Derek Carr that has gone ahead and benched him because Derek Carr will probably not be a member of the Raiders next year. And then they're going to play against a Arizona Cardinal team which has benched or has a number of their top players on the defensive side. Budda Baker, one of them, placed on IR. He's out for the season. So it's very likely that the 49ers can win out here, finish at 13-4, which just happens to be the record that I predicted for them back in around May, I guess it was. Whenever the NFL schedule was announced, I predicted a 13-4 record for the 49ers. They're not going to get there the way that I thought they would, but sure as heck looks like they're going to get to that number at the end. So hope you guys enjoyed the day. Hope you guys are having a good one. And thanks for taking the time to check out the channel, check out this practice report and update on the 49ers injury news. So thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Keep it locked in here, the Jack Hammer channel, for 49ers news and updates as they come. Take care, everybody. We'll be talking to you soon.